I see somebody.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. How are you doing?
Good. Rum punch.
I'm glad you brought a drink. I didn't want to be the only one. How's everything?
We actually had to go to the ABC store in order to have the stuff to make this.
It's all worth it.
It was.
Ron, what are you eating? It looks good.
Chinese.
Nice. You mind if I have a bite?
Yeah.
Man, that looks good. How are you doing?
Doing okay. We got a stack of letters. I get a bunch more ready to go out. We're going to go dog hunting tomorrow. I decided to hold the letters and mail them tomorrow so that they get to the people right when they're late for getting their mortgage payments. And we thought that'll be a good time for them to get the letter. So
Yeah, it's, all in all, the payments so far have been good. I still expect it to get way worse. But so far for the first, I expected it to be bad for April. And so far for April, it was a pretty good turnout. And I have good feelings for May. So I'm optimistic, hoping to stay that way for a bit.
For May.
What's that?
We got paid for one in May already today.
Oh, already. Fantastic. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I maybe got a dozen or so today, which is good. It's the first or before the first. So I think I ended up short like 12 for the last month, but that's about normal. That carry in maybe a couple over, but not bad. So I'm optimistic so far. We'll see how it goes. Hey, Ren, I see you logged in there. I see your mute's on. I don't know if I can hear you or see you. Now I see you. Oh, you're wearing a mask. Nice.
I just got back inside.
I thought you were wearing a mask for us.
No, I just pulled it back inside. And I was gonna do it on my computer, but I was like, I got my phone right here. So
Gotcha. All right, let me get a squirt of that. Ron gave me some Chinese food. You're giving me a squirt of your sanitizer. We're good.
we'll be all set here. Yeah, we'll get everything.
How are you doing, Ren?
Good, hanging in there. How are y'all?
I'm fantastic. Did you make yourself a drink yet?
I'm about to.
Okay, we feel awkward talking to people without a drink.
Hold on, I'm about to fix that. I just got this new vodka I want to try.
Nice. See, exploring new opportunities.
So, potato vodka. I don't know.
Wait, what kind is that?
See that? It says
Chopin?
Chopin, yeah.
Chopin. No, I haven't heard of it. You're gonna have to give us your review.
Yes.
I thought all vodka was potato vodka.
They made a thing of it on the label. I don't know. It's made up.
Yeah. Where doesn't all vodka come from potatoes? Chris, Ron, help me with this.
I don't know. I didn't know it came from potatoes.
Yeah, I thought all vodka came from potatoes. I thought that was the thing. Huh. I'm gonna have to Google that when I'm done. Because this one specifically says potato vodka, which if it all comes from potatoes, that's really smart on their part to try.
Yes, because it totally got me. But it was mostly the family owned and the gluten free that got me, but that didn't hurt.
That's funny.
So
this beer is made from barley. I'm like, well, it's all made from that.
No. And so today, most vodka is made from fermented grains such as sorghum, corn, rice, rye, or wheat.
Oh, now I'm totally sold now.
Or even just sugar.
All right, well then you're good. Let me know how potato vodka. I thought it was all, maybe it used to be potatoes, but let me know how that is. I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah, they make everything out of corn now, so I'm glad I opted for this because I was going for my normal Belvedere and I saw this and I was like, ooh. My brother took a trip recently to Poland, dating this Polish chick.
And that's what they were drinking?
He told me another brand. I couldn't find it, but I noticed even Belvedere is from Poland, but I was trying to find the name he mentioned to me, hoping if I walk up and down the aisle, something to jog my memory. It didn't, but this caught my eye, so I was like, well, hell.
So I'm trying this new thing. Well, it's not new, it's our old thing, but trying to do it differently, where I was doing this new thing on where we were broadcasting right onto Facebook. And everybody liked it a lot because it's so easy. Your phone vibrates and you're automatically on. You don't have to do anything. The challenge with that is I can't see you. It's just me sitting here yapping. And so I like Zoom for the sense that we can actually talk to each other.
And interact, yes.
But the problem with it is when I go on, like if I was to log right now live on Facebook, 30 people will be on in 6 seconds because they're all getting it right on their phones.
Right.
And when I do Zoom, you actually have to go and log in. And so I feel like I've confused people.
You can send like a Zoom link. A couple of my meetings is just the link. You click on it and it takes you right there. At
Right,
least
which
on
I
my
did.
computer.
I sent it to
Yeah.
Facebook. I sent the Zoom link, but it's not live on Facebook.
I got you. Okay.
Which there is a way to do it, but I don't know how to do that yet. I'm working on it. But so I've been getting challenging questions from people. They're like, "Well, can we do it the other way?" The other way, it was just me yapping, and I can't see you. I like it better. I do like because it's easy to go up multiple places. But this I like so I can actually see you guys. But I'm getting so many texts. I'm already getting texts. People can't figure out how to do it, and I'm like, "Well, I can't talk now because we're on." And so it is what it is. So anyway, I don't know if people are coming on or not coming on, but I have you on, so I'm going to talk to you anyway. So my question is, this is the question I wanted to propose to you or to both of you or to everybody is a couple things. One is what's the best thing you got done in April, most productive thing you got done? And then secondly, what is your biggest challenge you had for April, especially being in the new world we're dealing with right now? Your most productive, your best thing that you did accomplish for April and your biggest challenge. And I'm going to start off and I'll tell you my own. As far as accomplishing things, I've been doing fantastic because I have time on my hands. So I've been getting stuff done that, I normally couldn't get done, or I kept telling, "How you doing, Jay? I see you signing in." I normally couldn't get done. And some of the things like I finally did, literally when I say since 2016, this has been on my to-do list since 2016. I finally had my book converted to an audiobook.
Yeah.
And it's just about done now. It should be out any day now. And that's something literally 4 years I've been trying to get that done. I mean, I got so many things done. So that I'm very thankful for. I got all my follow-up systems set up. And and again, that's only been months, but you know the way it goes. You get busy and you don't get anything done, right? It just, I mean to do it. I'm
Yes,
gonna do
exactly.
it. I'm going to do it. Well, I have time, so I couldn't use that as an excuse. And so I literally sat and just did it. And I'm so thankful it's done now because I will never have to do it again for the rest of my life. So I'm thrilled that it's done. I can't get into so many different things like that. I'll tell you, there's one thing I haven't gotten done yet. And it's on my agenda for this week. And I regret that I haven't gotten it done, but I got busy with so many other things that I was trying to get done for years. And that's that thing I was telling you guys that I wanted to work on was to do it's more or less, I'm calling it a journal. I don't know what the hell you would call it, but it's a book.
I remember you mentioned this on a video. Yeah.
It's awesome. What I'm working on is awesome, but I'm not done with it. And I tell you what, if I do not finish it before this, what are we calling this?
Pandemic.
Yes. If I'm not finished with it before this is over, it'll never get finished for another 10 years. So I'm like, I have to get on it and get it finished because if I get it done now, it'll be done forever and everybody will have it. But if I'm 3 pages short of it being done before they release us out into the world, it will never get done. And so I'm trying. So like I told my wife, I said, next week we just have to sit down and nail it down and get it done. Challenges, as far as new challenges, I'll take a bite of that, Chris. That looks really good.
I know, right?
So as far as challenges, one of the big challenges I have is, and this is on your guys' properties too. I know Jill's got one right now, and James has one right now that I'm trying to sell. And the challenge is the people, the sellers, not the sellers themselves. Both of these have other people in the property. They don't want anybody in, and it's been hard on me because they're like, no, they're afraid, and I get it. You watch the news, everybody's gonna be afraid of everybody. I cut out the news completely. I did watch it in the beginning. So I'm gonna tell you that I watched it as we all did. I watched it in the beginning and then a combination of realizing they're all lying to us and then combination of realizing they're all trying to scare the shit out of everybody. I completely cut it out now. I don't watch it at all. Nevertheless, everyone else is. And so they're not setting appointments. People are like, they're afraid to let the buyers come in. I'm like, I have to get my contractor in. And she's like, no, I can't have anybody in. Well, it's really hard to sell a house without being able to get in even just once.
Yeah.
And so I have 2 houses right now. Jill has one and James has one that are good deals. And I have prospective buyers who are highly interested. They just need to see it to be comfortable. And how you doing, Arthur?
Hey,
And, and they can't get inside. We can't get anybody inside. And so that is the challenge that that's being dealt with on my end anyway, is that getting people inside to see a house is an existing challenge. And, you know, and we just got to wait till we get people comfortable. So with those same two questions, Chris and Ron, I'm going to let you guys go first as far as like what's your biggest thing you accomplished for April, and you know, and whatever it may be, and feel free to talk about anything else you have. And then also your biggest challenge that you think you're facing right now. And it could be a regular challenge or a special challenge based on the situation we're in.
Right now, my biggest challenge is getting my unemployment. It's been a month and I'm still fighting with that because you can't get a hold of anybody to talk to anybody. And then accomplishment is probably my house, because I've been home. I got my pantry cleaned out. I got the drawers cleaned out and got rid of a whole bunch of stuff. And I cleaned the baseboards. My house is just always second when you're working full time. Trying to do this at night, it's hard. So I got my house clean. So now, and I've learned that me saying I'm going to do this business full time isn't really effective for me unless I have a plan. So when we sit down and make out a plan of the things I need to do, I have a list I can go through and do them, and I do it. If I just have to do it myself, it's like, I don't really know what to do because I'm being locked down and can't do things normal. So.
And you got to have a plan. Absolutely. So, so one of the things I'm looking at you right now, as I'm looking at you, I see in your background that you have your giant checks in the background. I don't know how many, it looks like there's 3 of them back there. So that wasn't what I was going to mention. So having a plan is the ultimate in importance, because it's challenging when you wake up, and this is a good trying time for everybody. This is a good trying time. And when you wake up and have nothing that you have to do, it really sets everybody apart of the people who are going to get up and do something anyway. You don't have to do anything. You can sit and flip channels all day long. You're not going to work. You don't have to do anything. Yet some people are going to get up and go to work. And I don't mean go to your job. I mean, get up and do work, get work done. And then some people are just going to sit and flip channels all day and say, well, I couldn't go to work, and so I didn't do anything. It's a huge difference. And I love that you've said you're unemployed or whatever with your job. So you're going to take this. Now I do this full time, and you're going to make it happen. Yeah. As far as your unemployment, what I wanted to mention is, at least from what I've researched, whether or not you get it right now, they're retroacting it, or whatever, I'm saying it wrong, all the way back to the beginning. So even when you do get it, though, you're going to be made whole for all the months you're missing or weeks you're missing. So that's something anyway. I know that does not help right now, but it's still something that you are going to get it in the end.
Yeah, which will help because, like, we don't want to do Velocity because everything that we made up Velocity, we spent more than that investing in Velocity. So we're kind of leery, like, where do we put our money? So we're just doing the dog hunting right now and writing letters. Even I'm going on Rain and just pick a neighborhood and then all the houses that aren't owner occupied, sending them all letters.
And if you have time, dog hunting produces great results. If you have the time, and which you have now, if you have the time and get it done, dog hunting is fantastic.
Yeah.
You can get it done. And once I get this thing I'm working on getting done for you, it will be great because it'll be something you can use to hold yourself accountable every day. That's the way I'm organizing it.
Well, good.
So you have tasks for every single day. So hopefully we get that done soon. But I like that you're temporarily unemployed and it gives you a chance to go full and say, this is what I do.
Yeah. Yep.
So Ren, what about you? What is your biggest accomplishment in the last, for April? Oh, I'm sorry, Ron, I'm sorry. What, Ren, hold on. Hold up. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of you as one. I am absolutely apologizing. Ron, what is your biggest accomplishment in the last 30 days? And what's your biggest challenge you're dealing with right now?
Probably not necessarily my biggest accomplishment, other than I had some smaller accomplishments. I got a raised garden all done and built and growing and everything, but I still got to get up at 5 o'clock every morning and go to work.
Someone's got to work.
So that doesn't much change. Mine hasn't changed much, other than going through signing in every day, temperature checked and everything, and in and out of every structure. But other than that, I think probably our biggest
Where's your
accomplishment
picture?
is her biggest accomplishment. And she gets the letters done every day and like her staying on top of everything and following up, answering the phone when it rings and just trying to stay on top of everything. I think that's definitely an accomplishment. And it saves her some stress and headaches not having to go in there every day. But it also saves me the stress and headaches of carrying that phone, being in the hospital and it ringing, having to answer that phone when I'm in a lab or whatever and I can't answer it. And then when I get out, trying to respond back to it and just various things like that. So I think having her here is definitely a big bonus.
It makes a huge difference. And one of the things I love is that you guys do this together, and some people don't realize, and I, again, my wife is the same way where we do this together. A lot of people don't realize the benefit of having your second half being 100% in with you, doing this together, as how much easier it is to accomplish anything as opposed to when you're on your own and they're on their own. And that's been great from day one that you guys do it together. What you can't do, she's answering, and vice versa. And that's fantastic.
He's also worked on that. Is it Deal Factory? Working on getting that set up too. He's been
Now's
working.
the time. When we have downtime, now is the time. If you leave, remember I was telling you before, if I leave this lockdown or whatever you want to call it without having that one last thing accomplished, it'll never get done. Well, Deal Factory is the same way. We have this bonus time now of being locked down, even if it's only a couple hours a day where you can't do what you normally would have done. If you don't finish setting up your whole follow-up sequence for years on Deal Factory, you missed your window. If you didn't do it now, you're never going to do it. So now is the time. Get that stuff done. Just today, I had a buy call appointment over the phone this morning on a deal that would only work as a sub 2. And the guy did not take my deal. He actually said to me on the conversation, he says, well, why would I accept that? And I explained to him, I said, you wouldn't accept if it's your final option. If you've tried everything else and there's no other option, that's where this works out to be a good deal. Irrelevant to the deal. But after I hung up with him, I was thinking, I need to get back in, which I'm going to start tomorrow or Monday, a new follow-up sequence strictly for people that are only sub 2, no equity deals, either sub 2 or wholesale lease option deals. Because I was like, I don't want to put him in my regular follow-up sequence because I've already given him an offer that doesn't work. So I want to put him in a different sequence that just keeps explaining the benefits of a wholesale lease option or a sub 2 and set him out, because he has no choice but to eventually sell or foreclose. That's it. He has 2 options: either walk away and let it foreclose or do a deal like I'm offering. And so I need to set him up in a sequence where every 2-3 weeks you're getting something from me. Hey, remember me? You're not going to walk away with anything, but you get out of this foreclosure. And
Can he do a short sale?
he can do a short sale, but he's in the middle of a divorce and his wife isn't cooperative on doing that. And so it's not going to happen. So yes, that's generally their options are a short sale, which destroys their credit, a foreclosure, which destroys their credit, or a sub 2 or wholesale lease option, which saves their credit. And those are their choices.
Kind of saves their credit, but they can't buy another house with it.
They can buy another house. I've had people buy another house. You just have to show where the income's coming in to pay the mortgage payment. They might only accept 80% of it. But they can still buy another house when you have a mortgage on your credit.
Oh, okay.
No
And,
different than if you have a rental and you buy another house, as long as you can prove you're not making that mortgage
Yeah,
payment.
it's just like
Right.
my middle son Joshua. He bought another house with a partner, and he's in a group of friends, and he had to make up a fake invoice from his group, removing him from the mortgage on that house so he could buy another house.
Right.
He's still on the mortgage, but in paper, they accepted it.
Right.
So
Yeah, a lot of times it depends on the lenders they're dealing with. Sometimes lenders will accept the fact that you have a subject to it. You go, hey, listen, here's proof that I've been making the payments and I'll continue to. I'm even okay with saying I'm on the hook for it. But if the lender's okay, and it just depends on what lender they're going through. If the lender says, okay, I understand what's happening there, that's not going to impact what I'm trying to do with you here now for this second unquote
question,
house.
did Deal
And-
Factory change their monthly payment, their terminology on the invoice?
I don't know anything about that. From what to what?
There was something that it changed on the,
I know they changed a payment processor or something.
Automated Genius now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's possible. Yeah, I know they changed some kind of processor.
Yeah, because we had this charge, exact same amount, same date.
That's what it is then. Yep. So, Ron, before I move on, what is your biggest challenge you've had for this past month?
I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Let me think about all of it. I'll get back to you.
All right. I got you guys first, so I put you on the spot. So, Ren, I'm going to get you next. Your biggest accomplishment, biggest thing you think you've gotten done this past 30 days where we are sitting around locked down, and then your biggest challenge you think you faced this past month, be it COVID related or not.
Say again? That last part?
Your biggest accomplishment and then your biggest challenge,
That last part, something related or not?
whether it's related to the lockdown or not.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. So not necessarily real estate related, just what happened. Okay.
Anything you got.
So
We're having happy hour, so whatever you got.
one, oh yeah. Speaking of which, really smooth. Vodka, really smooth. Really smooth.
Nice.
And yeah, I like it so far. Yeah, I like it. Really, really smooth.
For anybody who joined late, we're talking about he got this potato vodka.
I should make sure I
There
get
we
something
go.
from
What's
them.
it called?
Yeah.
Chopin?
Chopin
Chopin,
vodka.
potato
Family
vodka.
owned. They've been in business since 1896.
I thought all vodka was potato vodka, but we've Googled it since, and it's not. And so this is a new thing. We're going to check it out. All right.
All right.
Moving on. All right.
Yes. So biggest accomplishment. I'd moved in. I closed February 10th. And being military, like I move around a lot, or when I was military, start adjusting that now. And I have boxes that, like, from my first move, which is probably in 97, that I never opened. Like, you get there and it's just like,
Yeah.
that goes in the garage. I'll get to it when I get to it. I've had boxes I've never, ever, ever opened, right? They've traveled with me all this career. So I pretty much just kind of move as I need something. I'll go, oh, let me go dig up that box, right? Oh, I'm looking for this particular thing. Let me go find that box. Where are the curtains? Let me go find that box. And I just dated myself, but that's all right. So being here, so mine is kind of different. I've worked this entire time just from home. It was pretty easy transition. Sometimes we're traveling for work, and I have a laptop that I can just connect and still do what I need to. So for when it first started, they did just a couple hours at home or most of the days at home, and finally just fully teleworking. So I'm still in all my normal meetings, and there's still too much of those. It's just zoomed out now. But oftentimes I'm just really in listen mode for the few 5 minutes that I have to actually have a speaking part. So I'll just, like I joined it first year, just mute everything and just be unpacking boxes. But I think 90% of the boxes that I mean to get to, I've already gotten to. The other ones are books and stuff that I probably will never get to, and they'll just stay in the garage or whatever. But I got that done. I've never been in a place where, so February, March, April. Yeah, so in 2 months I'm unpacked. Yeah, never ever. The kid will tell you, never. That's years and months. Biggest challenge, that availability of everything from work is still there, and I don't plug out, right? So normally I'm at work from 8 to 5, good, and I'm done. I can't do anything else, right? I don't have the systems. I don't pull out my laptop unless I'm traveling. But now I'm here, and it's up, and I've set it up in my little spare room, and it's there, accessible all the time.
Now
So
you're always working.
11, 12, 2 in the morning, I'm still all those things at work I need to get up on and I can get ahead of. And I'm always plugged in. So
That's an easy problem to solve, and I'm going to say easy from a different perspective. Maybe not easy to actually accomplish, but that is a matter of you setting your own limits and saying, okay, from this hour to this hour, and after we get to 6, I'm shutting down that room, shutting down the computer. I don't care if anyone texts me. I don't care if anyone whatever. It's not urgent, and you're just you have to set the boundaries. You have
absolutely,
to
because like you said, everyone's now accustomed to, hey, I just call it on the cell or text them or send them a Teams.
He's always at work because he's home.
Right,
he's working from home, so he's always at work.
Exactly. Before they had to call my office number, but now everybody has my personal cell, and they're just oh, let me just shoot them a quick text.
Yep.
And they'll go, hey, tomorrow morning, but you get it now. It's in your head, and just to clear that space up in your mind, you're let me just go take care of it. That's been my greatest challenge.
You got to set the boundaries.
Yes, absolutely.
Before we move on, I got to ask you another question, real estate related.
Yes.
Have you done any, I know you're still new, but have you done anything as far as marketing? Do you have any leads? Do you have any potential deals that you're possibly working on yet?
I have the 200 in my deal machine. Yes.
You do have 200 already?
I do have the 200.
Okay,
I
and they
watch
were
all your
qualified
videos
leads.
when they come out. You're like one of the few people I leave on notification where it comes out and I watch.
And so you have 200 that are qualified leads you've sent to.
I don't know about qualified, but
Well,
I put them
qualified
in.
meaning they have the ability to sell. You looked
Yes.
in Deal Machine
Yes.
and they have
Exactly.
the ability to sell. Good, that's qualified. All
My
right.
next deal is, since I'm here and I'm home anyways, I'm gonna skip trace them and start cold calling people.
Okay.
What? Yes, I'm gonna do it.
And then call me and I will go on the appointment with you.
Man, I love it.
When you get a good appointment, call me. I'll go on the appointment with you.
Sweet, sweet.
'Cause I
Deal.
want to get you some deals done.
Yes,
All right, good
Cool.
stuff.
cool deal.
Arthur, how are you?
I'm doing fine, sir.
I know you are brand new, so we don't have too much to go over, but I still want to ask you, what did you accomplish this past month? What do you have going on? And what is your biggest challenge that you dealt with? Even if I know you're brand new, but even if it's unrelated to anything that we're doing right here.
Well, my biggest accomplishment is that I was doing a lot of driving for dollars because I'm a technician. So in between jobs, going back and forth, I'm just using the deal machine, and I'll see a house and I'll stop on the way to my next job, and I'm like, oh, I got this job, got this house. Let me put this one in. So I think I got about 150 so far. I've ordered all my gear, my badge, and then I have my I have all my
Your card. You know what? You've never
Cards and
actually
stuff.
been to a local event, so I'm gonna remind me to mail you a lanyard also. I just
Okay.
realized you've never actually been here locally, so I'm gonna mail you a lanyard so you have one as well.
Okay. Yeah, and I even got the casino chips and stuff like that. I'm waiting for the bandit signs to come in the mail.
Ooh, casino
for those
chips.
items.
I'm sorry. Can I?
Yeah.
You got it? Like, can you show those?
Yeah, let's see.
I'm sorry, but
No worries.
I remember Scott saying he used to do these as his.
Yeah, I always
his
called them
parting
bucket
handshake.
coins.
Yeah.
I still have them, but now I mostly use the book.
I got you. Yeah.
Can you see them on there?
Hold on.
There it is.
Is he seeing them? I can't see it.
You can't see it? If you speak, Arthur, I think it makes you full screen. I'm not sure how it works
Can
on
you-
everybody's screen.
Oh, sweet.
Can you see,
Could
can
you
you
put
see them
them-
on there?
Close to the camera. I'm getting closer, like it's gonna help me see. Those are sweet, man. I like them.
Yeah, so I ordered all of those and I went gun ho with it all.
You have to do
Good
it.
for
And,
you,
and
man.
tell you what I
Good for
loved
you.
about those coins is I would always give them as I was leaving, and I would explain to them why I was giving it to them. And it was so that they would remember who I was. And I was implanting in their head, look at me, look at this. Remember, this is who gave this to you. And I was saying, I'm giving this to you because you may meet with a bunch of people and you're not going to remember who's who. So I give you this, and so I'm implanting in their head. This
That's
is
brilliant. Have you seen Coming to America?
1,000 times. I love coming to
Of
it.
course. When you think of garbage, think of Akeem, and he's like,
Yeah.
You're
I
right.
didn't even thought of that, but yeah.
It makes that connection in your mind, and you're like,
Yep.
oh, Scott, the guy with the token, with the chips.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I ordered the dollars.
Fantastic.
Kind of dropped a couple of those in the ground. So yeah, that's my biggest accomplishment so far. So yeah, I'm
Any big
trying to get it all
challenges the
done.
last 30 days?
The biggest challenge I think is I'm overthinking things. Every other day I'm emailing you. Oh, Scott, how about this? Am I doing this right? What you think about this? So,
It's okay. You can do that. There's no problem with doing that. But the interesting thing is, at least if you're doing something, you're doing all the basic stuff, and then you just need to do the marketing. You're still brand new, mind you. When you get to the marketing part, you need to do the marketing. And as long as you do the marketing, everything else comes together. It's only when you try and skip around. You want to get a deal before you ever do anything, and you're not. You're doing things in order. And as long as you do it in order, it all comes together.
Okay. So yeah, that's the biggest thing right now. I think I'm just overthinking everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's,
just need to relax.
and don't ever hesitate on emailing. That's what we're here for.
Okay.
So email and
All
go
right.
ahead and we'll figure it out. Jay, I see you're on mute still. So if I speak to you, you're not going to hear me. Can you?
hear
There
me?
you
Well,
are.
he can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me, right? I can't hear you. And I see your wife a little bit. I see her shoulder, but there she is. All right. So how are you guys doing?
Doing well.
So before you speak about what we're asking is what's your biggest accomplishment in the last 30 days and what's your biggest challenge? But before you even get into that, I want to ask you about your slow flips. How did you end for the month of April as far as your slow flips?
Just one didn't pay, but I have been to court with her on January 10th, so I can kick her out because it's so. I sent her a text message and I said, tell her, you know, this is how much you owe me. As soon as the courthouse opens, I'm going to evict you.
All right. And what was any response or no?
She was going to pay me, but she didn't. So as soon as I need to call on Monday because I have the paperwork and it's past the April 25th or whatever the governor gave. So
Right.
I'm evict.
They're continually changing that. Now, I did my math today for all of April because it was the month's finally over. And I think I had about 11 that didn't pay out of 115, which wasn't bad. And that's about normal. And we have a few of those are normal, good people, and we know they'll pay. We'll probably end up with maybe 5 that don't pay. And we're at the situation where we can't evict anyway. So we're trying to work with as many as we can because our hands are tied for the time being. So, and that's all I can advise. If she's corresponding and trying to work it out, I'm amicable and make it work. And if she's not, then all it is as soon as that courthouse opens, it's over. That's all you can do.
So here's my challenge. I have a house in a not so nice area of Portsmouth. And today somebody was going to go show it. Now I tried to talk them out of seeing it because they have 3 children. That's how
You can't
the
do
area
that. Yeah.
Well,
You're not
You
allowed to
would-
do that.
well, they smoke crack in the house across the street.
Yeah, you're not allowed to judge. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But go ahead.
Well, I said, I'll show it to you. But they got there like 1 minute before me and left because they were drinking in my yard.
Neighbors.
The neighbors were.
Yeah.
So anyway, so how do I get the neighbors out of my yard? Oh,
Well,
no,
that's a big challenge, but let me tell you, first off, you cannot tell somebody something's a bad neighborhood or a good neighborhood. You cannot say anything at all. They're regulated by law. You can't say, oh, it's a crack area. There's people. You can't say anything. And for all you know, the girl you were talking to is a crack smoker, and she's going to be, hey, my people. You know, she's going to love it. You can't judge, and you're not allowed to say it because if you do, you're
Crack
in
Smokers
violation.
Unite, really?
Yeah, you'll be in violation of the law. So you can't tell anybody you're a nice family and and I don't think you would fit in here. You're not allowed to say that. All you have to say is you're welcome to come see it and it's your decision to make. You're not allowed to say anything about whether you think they're a fit or not. Because that's what the whole law is about. They don't want you to say this is a black neighborhood or a white neighborhood or an Asian neighborhood. They want you to say come and see it and if you like it, it's your
Crack has no color. Actually, it does
Right.
have a-
Well, I'm saying they don't want you to be able to pick who you want to show it to. They want you to say, come see the house, and if you like it, it's yours, but you're not allowed to judge who you think is a fit.
Okay, so how do I get these people out of my yard?
Well, and that's a challenge, and that's a challenge that's always going on. Someone else is going through it right now. I think it's you, Renee, right? And I think you were recently asking, you have one in Suffolk that there's people hanging out. You called it a block party, right? They're hanging out in the street every day, right?
Yeah, there were 3 houses in a row that were vacant, so they were just kind of hanging out. But the first moment they could see the house, they were actually on what's now our driveway, like with a card table and cards and beer bottles and stuff. I'm like, hey.
So that's a big challenge, Denise, and it's really delicate because if you were to be like try and do something legal, you're going to be screwed because of the fact that you go home and they're still there. They live there. So when you go home, it's their home. So you're going to lose in that situation. Then the other avenue you can go is to try and be amicable and talk to them and say, hey guys, I'm trying to do whatever. And oftentimes that backfires on you as well. Definitely I wouldn't go into it fighting because you're going to lose that fight. You're going to lose because you go home. So some people, and I don't do any of this because I don't even see my houses anymore, but some people will go into it with, when you go there, you'll see what they're doing, if they're drinking, what they're drinking, and you may bring them. I have friends in Harbor North area. I have 2 houses there. They bring them a case of beer and they'd be like, hey, can you guys do me a favor? I'm showing this house. Would you mind watching it when I have people come? And they kind of make them an ally. And you know, and communicate with them and make them friends of yours, you're not going to win a fight against them because they live there and you don't. So you're not going to win going against them. So you try and be amicable as best you can. Threatening them is not going to work. Again, they live there, you don't. Calling authorities is not going to work. So the best you can do is to try and be amicable with them, try and develop some kind of relationship with them without being an ass. And, you know, and I never try and offer much. I've offered, you know, people a case of beer. I've offered to pay people for mowing lawns. I've offered them stuff like that. Or I've even offered people money to watch out for my house. I'd be like, listen, if I give you $50, can you watch the house for me just to make sure nobody messes with it? And I've given them money, like little money, $20, $50 to watch the house. And really, you're watching it from yourself, but I'm giving them money because I'm like, hey, if I give you $50 and you don't mess with it, make sure nobody else is messing with it, I'm happy. So that's all you can really do. It's tough. And that's one of the things when you buy a house to look for, but you can't always see it. You go there on a cold day and nobody's out. You go there a sunny day and it's a block party. So it's one of those things that's challenging. And, you know, and I'm going to use where we have a ton of houses in Newport News as an example. Some blocks in Newport News are freaking awesome. And some sections of the same block are really rough. But it's the same block. So you're like, but I have 6 houses on that street, but yet in a different section, it's a rough section. So it's really challenging because you're like, well, I drive up and down that street every day and it's great. So it could be just one group or one family or one whatever. And so it's hard to judge. And so when you do it, you have to deal with it on a case-by-case basis. And you don't want to, obviously, you don't want to be an ass, and you're just going to try and be as amicable as possible and try and make friends with whoever you can and offer them something if they'll keep an eye out for you. Once it's filled, you don't have anything to worry about. And odds are it's going to be filled by somebody who fits right into the community. So odds are it's not going to be an issue because the girl you were meeting who you thought was going to be a bad fit anyway, she's not going to take it. The person who's going to be a good fit is the one who's going to take it. And so it's not going to end up being an issue. It's just an issue when you're trying to show it because you're like, I know this isn't the right house for you, but yet you can't say that because of the law prevents you from saying that. You're not allowed to tell people that they're not a good fit for the neighborhood, right? So you have to just show everybody, let them look at it, make their own decision. They're going to know they're not a good fit.
I can say the law though, right? I can say the law says I can't tell you this is a bad neighborhood, so let's go on this trip
Right.
anyway.
Because sometimes people will ask when you say, oh, great neighborhood, they're like, what does it mean, great neighborhood? I say, I don't know. It sounds nice. You can't say that, oh, it's this or it's that. You have to just say, you know, you judge it for yourself. When people ask, oh, what's the crime like there? You know what I tell them? I say, well, you can call the police department. They'll give you an exact crime report for the neighborhood. I can't tell you it's a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood because that's
I think like Zillow does the same. Like they give you
they
like
all do. They have their reports, but you can actually call the police department and they will give you exact statistics of what crimes happened in that vicinity. And that you can do all day long, but we can't tell people whether or not, we can't judge and we can't tell people whether or not we think it's a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood. And so you have a challenge, and Renee's dealing with the same challenge right now. She just recently was emailing me. She said, every time we go to show it, there's a block party on the block. Either you told me that or Alex told me. I don't remember, Renee. And
It was me.
yeah, and there's a bunch of people hanging out, partying, drinking, whatever on the block. And so it makes it challenging every time to go show it. But it's really hard to fight that because if you ruffle the wrong feathers, you got to remember, you know, I remember I've had this problem. I remember years ago, this was on Highland Avenue. I still have a house on there in Portsmouth. And I remember a guy worked for me at the time and he was showing it. And the guy next door, they were hanging out on their porch all day, drinking and smoking weed, hanging out on their porch. The guy next door literally came out while he was meeting somebody to show it, walked over to him and spit on him. And I remember my guy called me and he's like, I just got in my car and left. And I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do here? You know, and we didn't know. I'm like, he lives here. So we can't get rid of him. It's legal for him to be there. There's nothing we can do. And you don't want to be an ass because again, we go home, he's still there. So if you're an ass, he's still there. You're not going to win. And so eventually we just had to try and befriend him as best we can. Because again, you always have to remember you're going to lose that. He's there, he lives there and you're visiting. So you have to go into it with a different mindset of you're wrong. No, he's there. Even if he's the worst person in the world, he lives there. You don't. And so you have to make the best you can with it.
Make a point, Scott.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, Renee.
Okay, I was just gonna add something. I was just gonna say that what you were saying before about when the tenant comes along, it won't be an issue. And this is the house that I think is going to get filled tomorrow.
And the right tenant, it's a non-issue. The right tenant's like, yes, there's people partying all day. That's what I want. You know, the right tenant, it's a non-issue. The wrong tenant, they're like, out with people on the street. But, you know, it's all a matter of getting the right person.
I've been watching some of your YouTube things, and you had one where you bought it, or your friend that you met there had bought an old police car, and that's what he pulled up in. That's what this was making me think of.
Yeah, and I didn't necessarily like what he did there. It was interesting because it worked for the short term, but I'm like, well, in the long term, I almost feel like it would work against him, but in the short term, it did work. You're right. I remember in that video, because I was shocked. He said he bought it for $2,500 or something. I was like, huh, interesting idea. Never thought of that.
So you would not recommend doing it really then?
I've never tried it myself. I know she's not on right now, but Juliana and Joey, they both drive police cars. They buy them at auction. They drive old police cars. And I love the cars. I see them all, even when they're at my house. Sometimes I'll pull in. I'm like, dude, who the cops are at my house? And then I'll find, oh, they're just visiting, you know. So they both drive police cars. They have the lights on them, and they buy them at auction. They're old police cars. That's what they like. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I haven't spoken to them if there's an effect on when they're in properties or not. This was years ago when I did that particular video when I met a guy out there. So I don't really know if there's an effect of it or not. I feel like there could be a negative effect or there could be a positive effect, and I don't really know the result. I'll find out though. That's a great question.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are muted again. Jay and Denise, did you guys have anything else to add before I cut you off and move on?
Next.
Next, is that what you said? All right, Renee, I think you're up next. And so I know we were just texting earlier and you told me something awesome, but I've been drinking all day, so I don't even remember what it was. So
Yay, coronavirus.
let me tell you, it's funny. I laughed. I put a post out this morning on Facebook and it was serious, but I was saying 100 years ago, and I don't know if you guys are friends with me on Facebook, 100 years ago, we were literally all having to hide from the cops and hang out in the back of buildings because drinking was illegal. And now we have to do the exact same thing because friends are illegal. You're allowed to drink, but you can't have friends. And so it's like all my friends are all meeting. We're like literally undercover in these back of bars and back of restaurants so we can sit and drink because it's ridiculous, but nevertheless, it is what it is. And so tell me something awesome. You text me something earlier that was awesome. I remember what it was. You just leased a property and they paid before you even signed the paperwork. They paid May's payment.
They did, yeah. My first time buying a slow flip when I closed on the slow flip and got the first payment the same day. So not only that, but I took my son with me. He helped me do the paperwork for it. That was really my first time doing that because usually we have help, but it went great. And it's all done and the people are happy and it's been a great Friday. So I'm like, hey, you know.
And how many is that slow flips for you now?
12.
All right, fantastic. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
before we get into your stuff, I want to ask you, out of those 12, or you had 11, how were your collections for April?
Everyone paid except for one.
Except for one. Okay, not bad. That's about online where I'm at because I have, I think, 11. I don't remember. I counted earlier. I think I have 11 out of 115 that didn't pay. And so that's about the same numbers. And then I have X amount that I know are solid people, but for whatever reason, they're late. So I'll probably end up with a few that are non-payers that will have to go through a process. So that's fantastic. So now tell me your biggest accomplishment with the last 30 days, be it because you had time on your hands or just days in general. What was your biggest accomplishment in the last 30 days? And it does not have to be real estate related.
I feel like, just like I was mentioning earlier, that my son is involved. I've had time to talk to them about it, about what it is, and just kind of familiarize them, because it's really important to me that they, as we move on, understand what it is we're doing so that they can be a part of this one of these days. And with all the time we've had to hang out and talk about it, it's kind of starting to sink in a little. They're still young. They're 16 and 13, but
and I love that,
trying
mind
to
you.
put words out there and stuff. Huh?
Right. I love that. I hate, my son's 11 now and he's still not really into it. He's like, I don't like real estate. I don't want to do real estate, even though he has a bunch of houses because he's, he's into Fortnite. And, but I love that with anybody, not just yours, but with anybody, when you can get your kids involved and to see, especially at a young age, to see this dollar amount being produced as opposed to working all week and this dollar amount being produced, once those numbers click, you can't undo it. You cannot undo.
No, you can't. And it's kind of a good thing. I mean, it's kind of, what this has really showed us is I think I texted you before about this, about getting William involved. Neither one of my kids are gung ho about real estate. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to,
Right.
familiarize them. And
The numbers are what'll get them in, gung ho.
well, when I was texting you one time about William, because he's 16, like I said, he'll be 17 in September. He had his first job last summer. He was a lifeguard at a pool a block away. Great job for a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, whatever. It was fine. He worked a lot of hours. He's a responsible kid, a good student, so he didn't mind doing it. But of course, it's a job. Some days he doesn't want to do it and everything. So I've been talking to him for the last 6 weeks, 2 months about doing this, helping me this summer, but saying, maybe, you can lifeguard this summer if you want, or you can work with me, or you can do both, or what have you. And he's of course like, well, I want to work with you, because he thinks that's going to mean doing nothing. But and I keep telling him, and I'm showing him too, that it is work. It's not like it just appears. There are things you do. We do work. And but one thing today, when we after we done the paperwork with the people, and they were tenants that were already in the slow flip. They decided they wanted to owner finance it from me, is what happened. So I both closed on the house today, so I bought it, and they signed the paperwork today. So he went with me. We came out to the car, and I told him I'd pay him a little bit for helping me, just to start looking at paperwork and show him how to do it. And he's like, so I make money for just doing that? And I'm like, well, yes. I said, but there's other things that go along with it. But basically, it's like making sure you have the details right, making sure you get along with the people. You're going to be messaging people and talking to them about, whether or not they want the house. A lot of questions are going to be asked. It's not just this simple every time. I'm just kind of getting your feet wet. And I said, but, think about it. Right now, we're not even sure if our pool's going to open. I'm not sure if he even has the option of a lifeguard job right now.
Right.
The pool might not open, but you know what? Real estate keeps going no matter what. And it's kind of like, it kind of rang true today to him. I think that no matter what happens, we're going to be able to do this. But the world is closed right now. So
The things that I really see sharp in kids' minds, but it's in adults' minds too. You guys are already involved, but for people who aren't involved, is when they first see, wait, you bought it for 28 grand and you're selling it for 89. How is that? How could you do that? Right. And then the second thing is, wait, you don't need any money? The lender's giving you that and they're paying it and you don't need any money to do this. And then once those two things click, it's like, you can't stop them. That's why I love when young people get involved. If you get your kids involved, that's why I love it, because when young people get involved and see that and they're like, wait, I'm 20 years old. When I'm 25, it would be paid off. When you get those numbers involved, it's just absolutely insane. That's why I love when you can click their brain at a young age, you can't undo it.
absolutely. I think it really made sense to him today. I was like, so that means that if today was a house that you bought and not us, and you've had a loan, when you're 21 on May 1st, it'd be paid off. And he's like, and it would just be $700 a month coming to me. And I'm like, yep.
For the rest of your life. Yep.
Okay. Well, but yeah, it starts to sink in, hopefully. But yeah, that's probably my biggest accomplishment, is maybe starting to make some headway with my son, at least right now, with making sense to him.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Was that your biggest accomplishment or your biggest challenge? I don't remember.
It was my biggest accomplishment.
Okay, what's your biggest challenge?
It's going to be like Deal Factory. I still haven't done anything with it. One of these days, I'm going to have to do that.
No, not one of these days, Renee.
know.
We have
I know.
time, and I don't know what your schedule is. And even if you're still working, I don't know what your schedule is, but we have time like we've never had it literally in our lives. I'm like, holy crap, it's Friday again. Damn, we just started this week. We have time, and it does not take, let me tell you something. When I finally sat down and did it, are you guys listening? It took me like 2 hours. It probably didn't even take 2 hours. When I sat down and did nothing else but said, I'm going to set up my Deal Factory and set up my voicemails and set up my text, actually, it probably didn't even take 2 hours. Yet I put it off for 2 months. It didn't take a lot of time at all. It just took time where I did nothing else. And I said, that's it. I'm going to get it done. And if you have the time, and if you do not get it done during this, and there's several things I'm saying this about, if you do not get it done during this lockdown, you'll never get it done. we're never going to have the amount of time on our hands that we have time right now. So if you don't get it done now, you're never going to get it done. So put it on your calendar and say, listen, from Monday to 9 to 11, I'm gone, or whatever it is, 10 to 1, whatever. Don't call me. Don't talk to me. My phone's off, and sit at your computer and you will get it done, and it will be done for the rest of your life.
Okay, all right.
2 hours. And probably it wasn't even 2 hours. Chris, did you do yours?
No, Ronnie, that's computer stuff is Ronnie's job.
Did you finish yours already?
Probably about 90%.
Okay, so it doesn't take that long. The part that took long was sitting down to do it. Once I sat down, it was like, all right, set this voicemail. And literally I text myself, set the voicemail. It takes minutes, but it took longer to decide to get it done than it took to get it done. If you just sit down and get it done, you will get it done. So put it on your calendar, pick 2 hours, 3 hours. It could be next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it doesn't matter, and don't put anything on your calendar. From 11 to 2, I'm gone. I'm going to be sitting in a room and doing nothing but sending voicemails and setting up text for my Deal Factory. So the next 3 years of follow-up is done without me having to think about it. That's
All
it.
right.
Set it up one
Right.
time and you'll be done.
All right, in a week I'm gonna tell you I've done it.
No, that's-
Say that again? A week and tell me you've done
I'm
it?
gonna
All
tell
right.
you I've done it.
Good. So we'll do a happy hour again next week, and and you're going to say my biggest accomplishment this past week is I finished my
Got
Deal
around the Deal
Factory,
Factory.
and I never have to do it again. Salute.
I haven't gotten to that part yet of the deal. I haven't gotten to Deal Factory yet.
Not yet. You'll get it soon.
I need to voicemail.
Andrew, I see you on there, but I can't see your face. Are you able to hear us?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know. I don't see your face, so I'm not sure how long you've been on, but I'm going to ask you. So do you have what was your biggest accomplishment in the past 30 days and your biggest challenge?
The accomplishment, getting organized in all facets of life, I guess.
Organization is what we get to do during this downtime. If anybody is not organizing themselves during this free time, you're missing the boat. We never have this kind of time on our hands. And if you're stuck home, now some people are still working and they have no difference. But even if you have no difference, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Andrew, you're not going out to dinner, you're not going to the movies, you're not going out. Even if you still are working your regular job and your regular hours, you still have massive free time that you didn't have before because you have nothing else to do besides work. So either way, I'm sorry to cut you off, Andrew, but go ahead. So you have massive free time, you're getting a lot of stuff done.
Yeah. And as far as the biggest challenge, not oversending, not going above my budget since I have so much time. I've been getting a lot of mailings done and just limiting what I can realistically do each month.
All right. So was that your biggest challenge or biggest accomplishment? That was your accomplishment.
It's also part of the challenge.
So the challenge is that you're only doing what's realistic?
Not going above my budget since I have so much more time to work on the mailings.
Oh, you're being challenged by not going more than you're able to do because you have the time and you want more. I got you. Yeah, that's a challenge, but the smart thing is to do exactly what you're doing. Stick within what you're able to do and let it build on its own. Don't go crazy. Yeah. I know when you have time, you're like, normally we try and book people, even if you do 2 or 3 or 4 appointments a week, you feel like you're accomplished. But when you have free time, you're like, I can do 20 appointments this week. But the flip side of that is the sellers right now are just as scarce or on setting appointments. So you don't want to overdo it anyway, because they don't want you in your house just as much as a lot of people don't want to be in their house. So what you're doing is the right thing to do. And we just got to keep a balance.
Yeah, but other than that, I guess the challenge is now the court system. We have someone who wants to sell who has to get it approved by a judge. And now that's delayed for however long.
That's a challenge. And so what you can do with that, and you probably have already done it, is regardless of what the courts are, you still lock it up and you still submit it. And depending on the situation, sometimes on a case like that, they take a hearing, they'll still do it. A lot of the cases are closed, but the courts are not completely closed. A lot of the cases are closed, but for certain things, they're still open. And that's kind of one of them that sounds like it. If it's not going to affect anybody being displaced, they're likely to still hear it. But if not, at least have it locked up. And as soon as the court's open, then can take care of it.
I've tried to lock it up, but I need her ex-husband to sign the paperwork, and he's not going to do it until a judge makes him.
He's being forced to sell. Yeah, that's going to take a minute. There's nothing you can do. Wait it out for the courts to open. Yep. Nothing you can do. I'm actually dealing with one of those myself that, and I'm not going to get into the story, but it's a personal house that I'm working on that I may or may not move into if I was able to accomplish. And it was a divorce scenario. The wife already signed the documents. I signed the documents. We actually had closing, but the husband wouldn't come in and sign. And there's no courts can order it because the courts are closed. So there's nothing that can actually be done other than to wait it out. We're in unique times. And so we have to deal with it as a unique situation. Nothing you can do other than stay in touch and keep it on the hook. And when the time comes, close it then. All right. So is anybody else drinking with me, or am I the only one drinking? I know Ren's drinking. I know Ackerman's are drinking. I know Renee's drinking. Who else? There we go. Arthur, you're the only one. I don't see a drink over there. You got a drink? Come on. This is happy hour. All right. All right. We pulled one out.
Wait, what's everybody drinking?
I'm
I look
drinking
like Sprite.
Crown.
Vodka seltzer.
Homebrew.
I'm drinking Crown. I thought I was out of Crown, and then my wife said, "Wait, I think we got some Christmas gifts," and they were gallons. I have 2 of these gallons of Crown Black. I was like, "All right."
Crown Black? Is that a thing you do?
Yeah. I said,
All right. Well, now we know what to get you. Now we know what
back
to
in
get you.
business.
All right.
All right. So before we let you go, does anybody else have anything awesome that you want to share?
I have a question. Did you
Go
get
ahead.
masks yet? We Buy Houses masks?
No, and you know what's funny? When I came home today, I literally got home like 20 minutes before this started. There was a box on my porch, and I was like, "Yes, they came just in time." I was going to wear it for you guys, and then I opened it up, and that's not what it was. It was an Amazon shipment. And I was like, "Damn it," because it said May 1st. It said expected shipment date May 1st, and I was like, "Today's May 1st," and I thought it was it, but no, it's not. It should be any day now, but they're not here yet. As soon as they are, you will clearly know, because I will do a video on them, and I will get them to you one way or another if I have to drive by your house and wing them out the window. I got nothing else to do. It'll be fine. Besides the mask question, does anybody have any questions, comments, anything before we let you go?
Hey, Scott, you gonna drive all the way to Richmond to come to my first appointment?
I might
You
not
out
come
in
to your
Richmond?
appointment, but I'll come to Margarita Day. I may come to the appointment. If it's a good appointment and I feel it's really good, you never know. I might come. It's not that far. I've been to some appointments out here that I felt was local, and I'm like, holy crap, I've been driving 2 hours. Where is this place? I can drive to Richmond in less than that.
Yeah.
So you never know. If it's a solid, good appointment, you never know.
All right.
You let me know, and you never know. It's very possible.
All right, cool.
All right. Anybody else have any questions before we have a toast and say goodnight? I'm waiting on you. Nothing? Going once? Going twice? All right. Well, I'm glad you guys made it. Have a fantastic evening. I look forward to seeing you soon. And next week when we talk, these things you said you didn't get done, Renee, we're going to make sure are done. And have a fantastic evening. I'll see you guys soon.
Cheers, everybody.
Great night. Cheers.
Nice to
Salute.
see you guys.